Hello everyone, this is Bertogal and I just want to follow up on my last video about my single Stop the Fighting with another video just to explain a bit more about the charities that I'm working with. The next charity we are working with is Cure Violence, based in Chicago, USA. You may be thinking, why are you working with the USA? Well, there's a lot of gun crime that's going on over there, and I remember hearing a story about particularly Chicago where children were getting murdered in their bed because of the violence that was going on outside, and that really troubled me. So we looked for some charities in Chicago and Cure Violence came up. And also what I liked about Cure Violence was the fact that they deal with the mind and the behavioral side of why a person may do what they're doing. And there's a part of my song that talks about converting our thoughts and you'll find peace of mind, which is sort of a cognitive behavioral therapy thing that works on changing your thought pattern, and I thought that that would be a great fit. So here's a video from Cure Violence with a bit more about what they do.
You know, where I grew up, you saw a lot of things. Violence was all around me. At home, yeah? And at school, I'd go to the candy store and just... Even the bus was no free ride, right? I mean, around here, you see people, you're exposed to violence. You just had to expect that, wherever. The more you saw, the more it just seemed like that was the normal way for people to behave. Even me sometimes. Before I knew it, it was touching every part of my life and spreading like a disease. Then one night, they hurt my cousin, put him in hospital. I knew what I was supposed to do, but he stopped me. He said he was an interrupter. He knew me from the neighborhood. He told me how violence can spread like a disease if you let it, and how we all end up hurt if you do. And taught me that I could help stop the violence by not being violent myself. He showed me how I could use my influence to change how the people around me viewed violence. I started to step up too. It changed who I looked up to and who looked up to me. It's all about healing the damage from the violence I've seen. It's about changing my behavior. Now, instead of adding to that violence around me, I was helping others to leave violence behind. Then they changed the people around them, across the city, across the country, across the whole world too. Because the truth is, violence is a disease, and that this is the cure. Let's make the cure contagious.
Chaya Development in Nottingham is another charity that I decided to work with. I grew up in Nottingham, so it's a city that's very close to my heart. And after the shooting of Danielle Beckham in 2004, Hyacinth Francis put together a charity which is now changed names to Chaya Development, and she works closely with the youth and the young people and people that may have been in gangs or in gangs, and she's very influential, and we just wanted to support her and her work by giving and donating the funds of the song to them. The final charity we are working with is called Through Unity, which was founded by Robin, who is also the CEO. And what that charity does is support mothers, fathers and relatives who have lost loved ones to knife crime and gang violence. Also, some of the mothers within that charity featured on the BBC's EastEnders, which was the programme that inspired me to write the song. So I thought it would be only fitting to work also with that charity and support them with the funds of the proceeds of the song. Here's a bit more about what they do.
Through Unity was set up to support families when they're bereaved through the murder of a child. What we're doing now is we're trying to branch out and bring in more and more of the stuff for the young people. It's the first weekend in initially a 12-month programme. So we're bringing lots of brothers and sisters, cousins, and some friends of those who have sadly passed away together. We're going to be doing some team building stuff. We're going to be exploring who they are, how they relate to what they've been through, and we'll be exploring what they want to do with this project.
I remember there being a knock, and then my mum and dad just came upstairs and they were crying. They didn't see me, but they were like, my mum was like crying and she was on the floor. That's all that I remember. And then the next day, there were police over, and then my mum and dad said that they're going to the cemetery place to see if they found my brother or not. And they said that hopefully it wasn't him. And they just came back and then they were just crying.
How old was Bob?
16.
16.
I'm grateful for this charity as it's not something that you just sit around and talk. You go to weekends and you have fun, because it's not always 24/7. You have to like talk about what happened to your family. Like there has to be times where you can have fun.
We've been talking a lot about ways in which we could reach out to the youth and ways in which we could talk about the aim of through unity without trying to bore them. We've come up with a poem. It talks about all the stuff that gangs think are acceptable, but if you read it backwards, it shows young people that these things aren't acceptable. And we talk about family, because family is seen as a central thing in most people's lives. So we just want to figure out, you know, if family is so important, why do you insist on breaking another family apart?
We have to come together, we have to have a collective voice. And if we can raise that voice of the 99% of young people and allow them to speak, it will have an impact. It has to have an impact.
So there are the 5 charities that we are working with. The song is already out there now. You can purchase it on iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, all of the musical platforms. It's available to buy and download. As you know, all proceedings from the sale is going to these charities. So we're asking you to spread the word, buy it and support this cause.